you ever think about how quickly time flies? One minute you're a kid, the next you're a teenager, and even further, an adult ready to take on the world. Well, during that reflection, how often do you think about the people who live with regret, wondering what could have been and should have been? What could have happened if they only given themselves a chance? How far they could have gone if only they would have pushed just a little bit harder? People who live in constant regret from not taking the risk they know they should have, by not betting on themselves, quitting far too soon, or not being willing to invest the time, energy, and resources it takes in order to reach your goal. Do you really understand just how powerful you are? How much control you have over your life? How much your will and influence will shape your destiny, but only if you choose it? How your steps have determined your past? How much control you have over the present and future? How important it is to realize that nobody is coming to save you until you look in the mirror, wake up, and realize just how capable you are. This is the infinite evolution. You, more than anybody else, owes you the best, most faithful, consistent, dedicated, and intentional version of you who understands patience and the importance of giving yourself grace, because you're not perfect, but you have been here through every single step of the journey. So you know what you've been through, you know what you're capable of, and you know you're still here fighting and kicking, ready to take the next step. This is the infinite evolution. The time you've been blessed with is precious. So considering how powerful and ever-present you are with yourself, nobody owes you more than you when it comes to taking care of business, when it comes to chasing those goals, because you, more than anyone else, will be present with you from now until infinity. Why not take advantage? Why not become your best so that the person looking back at you in the mirror every single day for the rest of your life is somebody who you can be proud of, somebody who you can respect, somebody who you don't have to look at with regret and wondering what could have been. This is the infinite evolution. If you won't take yourself seriously, who else will? Why would they? If the primary beneficiary of your health, discipline, focus, consistency, faith, dedication, all of it won't even be consistent, who else will, and what will it lead to? What does it say about what you truly think and feel about yourself and even your prospects on the world? Sometimes life gets really hard and we are pushed and challenged to new heights that we don't think are within us. But what if they were? What if by giving yourself just a little bit more grace, a little bit more of a push, a little bit more intentionality, what if all of those dreams that are right there at your fingertips actually became reality? Well, the only way that's going to happen is when you wake up and start to realize just how capable you are. If you're going to be with yourself from now until the end of your life, how could you not honor that relationship? Why would you not want to take care of the person who from now until infinity is going to be there with you, watching and remembering every single step you took? Why not give them something to be proud of? Why not put the best step forward so that you consistently log in your memory banks all of the consistent effort and dedication that you put towards your craft? Why not honor that relationship, not just through words, thoughts, and feelings, but through actions? Actually living up to what you said, actually doing the things that you committed to, and not leaving a single stone unturned, because you know you have it in you. Because who gets to decide when your dreams are worth chasing? Nobody but you. Nobody more than you. So if you don't wake up, snap out of it, and start to get it in, somebody else will. Whatever opportunity you want, it's a good chance somebody else wants it too. And we often try to fight the idea of competition. But competition isn't a bad thing. It's often a healthy thing. So forget about competing with others. Forget about that stranger who you think is after your job. Compete with yourself. Compete with that person who's looking back in the reflection, and watch how far you go. You can never become an entirely different person, but you can become the best version of yourself. And it's only if you decide to be intentional and make it happen yourself. It's the only way. Who is the person that has to live with the regret of knowing you didn't try hard enough? Who is the person that has to sleep knowing that this day I didn't put in everything I could have? Who is the person that has to sleep with the regret of knowing that you quit far too soon, knowing that you didn't do enough, knowing that you didn't give your all, and knowing that you could have gave a little bit more? When every single night and morning you need to pull out your phone in order to distract yourself from what your reality is, maybe it's time to wake up. Maybe it's time for something different, and maybe it's time to get off of the sidelines and get into the game so you can start winning. Wouldn't you much rather go to sleep knowing that you gave it your all? Even if you fell short, you didn't cheat yourself. Even if you didn't go as far as you wanted to, you gave everything you had so you don't have to live with regret. You didn't cheat yourself out of the time and effort required in order to get the job done. Every single battle won't end in victory, but with perspective and discernment, you can differentiate the forest from the trees. You don't have to look at a single battle and put all of your stock into that one situation. You get to realize that even though in this one moment things weren't successful, you built something better. You solidified your integrity. You confirmed that you were consistent, and you gave even more evidence that you're here to get the job done and won't stop before it is. This is the infinite evolution. When you have that level of regret, the dreams and nightmares don't just stop when you go to sleep. They haunt you throughout the day, and they become something that you can never ignore unless you add even more distractions in order to stop you up. Why do that to yourself? So today, make the decision to honor your sleep by giving the effort it takes in order to bring such a peace. But beware. The world will often tempt you with victimhood and convincing you that you don't have the power that you actually do. But when you ask yourself why, the answer becomes clear. The person who doesn't know how much power they have is unlikely to use it. But the person who's fully aware, knows what they're capable of, and refuses to give in until the job is complete, that's a person that's hard to stop. If I told you you had to compete against two different people, and one was fully aware of how amazing they are, and the other was a little bit unsure, who would you rather go up against? When you got one person who quits at the drop of a dime, who has no backbone, no integrity, and doesn't know what they have within them, it's really easy to defeat them. But what if we flip the dynamic? What happens when you take a person who won't give up, who refuses to lose focus, who is dedicated, consistent, and disciplined? They're hard, if not impossible, to defeat, and that's the person who you need to become. Because the world can be hard, and there is no shortage of excuses if you choose to take them. The question is, which path will you choose to take? Excuses or execution? Dedication and discipline, or more procrastination, or reasons as to why you couldn't get it? If you want the excuse and the easy scapegoat of being a victim, it's right there for you. You get to take it. But if you want the top spot, if you want to become your best, that's there as well. But unlike the excuses, it takes a little bit more commitment. You may have to wake up early, be more disciplined, show up when others did. But if at the end of the race, you get exactly what you're looking for, I think it will be worth it. This crazy world we live in will often try to tempt you with victimhood, shame, and helplessness. But you have a choice. When you choose to give energy and credence to the worst aspects of our lives, you also choose to invest in them. If it costs the same, why not choose to invest in yourself? The price of discipline, consistency, and integrity is far higher than the one of excuses, or so it seems at first. But when you're looking back later with that regret, that's a price far too heavy to pay. In the moment, it may feel like you're giving too much in order to reach your dream, but nothing is more expensive than a life of regret that you didn't get the most out of. So you need to ask yourself, which price are you willing to pay? To sacrifice your long-term dreams in favor of short-term gratification in this moment, or the discipline, consistency, and integrity it'll take to reach those long-term goals? The choice is yours, and it's lying right in the palm of your hand. The only question is, will you choose to grab it and take charge, or will you choose to release it and let it float off into the universe? This is the infinite evolution. When you give in to the dangerous mindset of being a victim, of being helpless, of not having a say in what your life is, you voluntarily choose to give away so much power, and it simply isn't necessary. It is such a dangerous mindset. You're not solely defined by your past or what others choose to say and think about you. You have a choice. You get to decide who you are through actions, not just what you think, say, or feel, but what you actually do. If you've been with me for a minute, you know every single action you take began as a seed planted by a thought. The question is, which type of harvester have you become when it comes to your life? What type of crops are you growing? What type of farmer have you been? How are you investing in your own beauty, growth, and health? You get to decide who you are and what you become through actions. But before you take a single step, your mind must be prepared and committed to the right things. Otherwise, what are you doing? Resilience, patience, urgency, and a standard of excellence are all choices that you get to make or refrain from should you decide to. And let me not gloss over that one part. The patience and grace that you choose to extend to yourself will often determine just how far you're able to go. Your willingness to give yourself a little bit of grace is often the reason why you either skyrocket to the moon or you keep crashing and burning. Show yourself some love, give yourself some grace, and recognize that Rome wasn't built in a day. You did not make it to this point in one moment, and you will not make it out of it in one moment. It will take time and energy and consistency, and you will fail, you will stumble, but that's okay. Because your mind is sharp and committed to excellence, there's no way you're going to fail. When every time you fumble and falter, you don't respond with faith, it proves to yourself that you didn't really believe what you were saying, that you're not really committed to yourself or excellence, and that you don't really understand the power of your own mind in forming and creating the life that you want to build. You may be in a deficit financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you name the area. No matter where you are or how you ended up in that position, there's a way to get out. The question is, how much longer will you wait to look up, feel your journey with faith, and commit to yourself? Because only you can. You did not get here overnight, and you won't leave that way either, but you don't need to. What if the journey that you took to get here needs to be reversed in order for you to become your best self? What if the years of time you spent lacking patience and discipline, no faith, moving without integrity, all of the things, what if you need to reverse those in order to become your best self? You can't get something without first giving it. You put in all of these years not handling business, now you need to reverse it. You put in all of this time underachieving, coming up short, now you need some years where you do the opposite, where you keep your head down, you remain humble, and you commit to something bigger than you. What if that's the only way to make it? Are you willing to commit to yourself so much that even when it's difficult, you'll push through? That even when it's not easy or fun or other people are going out and it feels like they're living a life that you should, what if you still commit? What if you don't falter? What if your mind remains sharp and locked in? And what if you keep your eyes on the prize? Impossible becomes nothing. Infinite becomes the norm. And this is the infinite evolution. Give yourself grace when you've been committed to the process. Show yourself love when you've been disciplined and dedicated. Celebrate the small victories when you've been moving with integrity and you finally get a little bit of a payoff. Because if you don't choose to do it, who else will? Nobody owes you like you do. Nobody is capable of changing your life like you are. So wake up, lock in, and become your best self. This is the infinite evolution. That grace and patience might just be the difference between your next breakthrough or you sliding back into mediocrity. But which will you choose to embrace? None of us know how much time we have left. And for sure, every single moment is precious, but that doesn't mean you need to rush. You have more than enough time to achieve everything you need to. Be patient, diligent, dedicated. Create a plan, be driven by faith, and watch your outcomes take off. By the way, the grace and patience that you extend to yourself, your community, your family, your loved ones are all gonna reap the benefits of you embracing grace. Because whether you like it or not, know it or not, and choose to embrace it or not, somebody is watching you. Somebody is learning from the steps you take. You can't pour from an empty cup. And that includes the understanding and empathy this world so desperately needs. So again, I'll ask, who is more responsible for your future than you? It's hard to go to sleep every single night wondering if you try hard enough. Don't let it be you. If you know how to wake up early every single day for a job that you don't love and that doesn't love you back, that means you can do it for yourself. You can be orderly, disciplined, consistent, structured, well-mannered, all of it when it comes to honoring your time and gifts. The question is, what are you waiting for? But if for some reason you couldn't show up on time, be disciplined, communicate the way you need to, think with the right type of mindset, and even perform at the level that was required, eventually that job is going to try to replace you. And it'll probably be sooner rather than later. Unlike that job, you'll never be able to replace yourself. So make peace with the person in the mirror. Be sure that you hold them to the highest standards possible, because only you have the power to do it, or to show up and stand out with the level of consistency and excellence that your future so greatly demands. This is the infinite evolution.